Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'll be playing Cascadia. Don't let the length of the video fool you. I'm playing 3 games of Cascadia in this particular video, and if you stick around, I'll explain why. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I'm set up to play Cascadia, and as I mentioned, I'm going to play 3 games of Cascadia, and so there are, of course, in the description, chapter markers, so you can jump to the one that you want. But the reason I'm going to play 3 times is because when I was looking to buy this game, I watched some solo playthrough videos myself. That's always a good way for me to scout out whether I think I would like a game, and all of the videos that I've watched out there, there's these different scoring cards for each animal, and there are 4 different ones for each animal labeled A, B, C, and D, and all the videos I watched use A only, just all the A scoring ones, and that's fine. That's like a good one to start with. And when I did my solo playthrough of Cascadia, my first one on this channel, there's a link in the description of that as well, I did the same thing. I used all the A's because I unboxed it and then I played it, and so I thought that would be a good way to start, and it was. But I kind of figured some people might want to see the other scoring cards and what they're like. So I'm going to first play a game with all of the B's, and then I'll play a game with all of the C scoring cards, and then a game with all of the D scoring cards. Just so you can kind of see them in action. I'm not going to play with any of the scenarios or anything else like that, but that's the idea. And then one other thing I learned after my initial solo playthrough video, it has you follow the 2-player instructions for setup, which has you deal 43 of these tiles, or set aside 43 tiles. And I thought I had messed up the game when I did that first video, because I had like 1 tile left over for some reason at the end. And they had to use 43 because that's the number you need for 2 players, and they just wanted to simplify the rules. Totally fine with that. But for 1 player, you actually only need 42. So I've started using 42 since then. So just in case anybody's noticing that and confused. So let's get going with this first game using all of the B scoring criteria. So for bears, the B criteria is you have to have 3 bears that are all adjacent, not touching any other bears. And every time you do that, you get 10 points. For elk, you are putting them in very specific patterns. So the bear card is called Mother and Cubs, and the elk one is called Formations. So 1 elk by itself is worth 2 points. 2 of them side by side are worth 5. Let me grab some extra pieces just to show you. So this is what I mean. This is worth 2. This is worth 5. This formation is worth 9, and this one is worth 13. And for salmons, they're going to be in runs again, but the limit is 5 in a run. If you go more than 5 in a run, I mean, you can do it, but you don't score anymore. So a run can be 1. You get 2 points for a run of 1, 4 points for a run of 2, and it goes up until you get to 5 or more, and then it's just, that's how many points you get. So you don't get more points for going over 5. For the hawks, you get points for every hawk that is not adjacent to any other hawk, but has line of sight to another hawk. So line of sight means their sides line up. That's line of sight, whether this way or this way or this way, but it's not points. From point to point, that doesn't line up. It has to be side to side, not vertice to vertice. And then the foxes this time score points for the number of unique animal pairs they're touching. So in this example, it's next to 2 bears, which are touching each other, and then it's next to 2 salmon, which are not touching each other, but it's 2 of the same animal type, and then 2 hawks, which again are not touching each other, but it's adjacent to 2 bears and 2 salmon and 2 hawks. So for each unique type of animal that is touching at least 2 of, it scores points. So for 1 type of animal is 3 points, 2 types of animals is 5, 3 types of animals is 7 points. So now that we know what the criteria are, let's pull out these first tokens that are on offer. First tiles. Oops. Grab too many. It's been a couple weeks since I've played Cascadia, but I really like it. I got pretty into it. And I was having a lot of fun working through the scenarios in the book. Oh, come on. Look at that. 4 bears. Overpopulation. Okay, so 2 elk, 2 hawks, and then let's get our starting tile as well. So these are shuffled up. We'll just grab this one. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with this bear and this elk. And I'll put this bear here, so it could be touching this other bear, but I might do an elk formation there as well. I'm not sure yet. So I'll put the elk here, and I get a nature token for that. I'll keep those over here. Those are my earned ones. So these are gone. Slide these down. 2 more. All right, so I'm going to have to make a choice already on elk or bear. You know, I could try and build the elk formation with 4 elk and make this one the bottom point. So maybe if that's what I'm going to do, I'll take these. I'll line up these 2 mountain pieces. Maybe I'll go this way. Might be a little limiting, I don't know. And we'll put the bear here on the keystone and get another nature token. Discard this and this. Slide down. 2 more. Oh, okay. All right. Well, now I wish I had rotated this one a little bit differently. Oops, that's okay. So I think I'll spend a nature token to take this keystone tile and this elk. And I'll put this here. I'll put the elk on that tile and get a nature token back. Now we slide, discard, oops. 2 more. Oh, another elk on the mountains. That's kind of what I wanted to put there. Well, there's no elk on offer. I'm probably better off getting the bear. Well, let's take this. I'm not going to put a bear on this, but I could put a fox or a hawk. Depending on what I put. Maybe I'll put this like this. So forget the mountains, but I can put a fox on that and score something. And we'll put the bear here, I suppose, touching the other bear. Discard. Slide. Well, I want this tile, but I really don't want that hawk right now, so I'm going to spend a nature token to take this tile and this elk, and I guess I'll put this mountain here, and I'll put the elk on it and get a nature token back. So we slide and discard, so that's 5 turns out of 20, quarter of the way through. We'll take 2 more. Okay, I like that. And we might be able to start a salmon run here. Another bear, hawk. And we'll just grab this one right away because now I can connect the mountain and the forest. It gives me somewhere to place that last elk, and it lets me finish this bear. And I do want to put that bear here in case I get a fox. So start a second stack. Slide these down. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, I probably need to add a couple of these. Oh, that's real nice. Real nice. Well, for now, I've really got to spend this nature token to take this salmon tile and this salmon. Worked out really well. I'll put this here. Put the salmon on that keystone to earn a nature token back. Everything slides. This goes away. And I've still got this nice lined up keystone tile and hawk. I like that. Oh, there's another salmon too. Really going after these keystones. There's a fox. I could use that. Oh, but that's lined up real good too. I've got lots of good options. I like this. And clean it up a little bit here. So I'll take this before it goes away. And the question is, where else might I put some hawks that can be within line of sight of this one? Maybe I'll put this here and see if I can get one on the other side of the fox as well for scoring purposes. So then put this on top of that keystone, get another nature token. Now these are gone. These slide. 2 more tiles. I kind of hope I don't see anything good because I really just want to take that pair. There's a hawk and a salmon. Well, it puts me in a bind a little bit. I really would like to take this pair. It just makes a lot of sense. But I think I'm going to score better if I take these. I think the scoring potential is more because I can place this here, which gives me somewhere to put a hawk within line of sight of that hawk. And I can put this fox here, which once I put that hawk down will be worth 5 points. So between the fox and that theoretical hawk, that's 10 points, whereas just adding another salmon, I get a point from the nature token, and a salmon run of 2 is worth 2 more points than what I have. So sadly, this sweet pair is going to go away. Slide these down, 2 more tiles. Oh, look at that. Another keystone. I'm a sucker for these keystones. Well, I think I'm actually going to spend a nature token. Take this token and this tile. I'm going to put this hawk here, and then I'll keep this rivers going right here, and I could put a salmon on it, but I could also put a hawk, which would be in line here, and that would score pretty well too. So now we slide these till they line up, discard these. So that is 10 tiles. I'm halfway through this first game. Let's draw 2 more tiles and a couple more tokens. I am looking for that last elk. I really need it because I can't score very well with the elk I have here. Well, I think we'll grab this and we'll keep that river going down here. And then I could potentially get a salmon run of 3, and I'll place this hawk here. So now these go away. Let's turn 11. These slide down. Oops. There we go. Really need that elk. Bear. Bear. There's 3 bears out there. Maybe I should do another round of bears. No, I don't think so, though. I think we're going to choose to replace those 3, which you can do once per turn. Oh my goodness, bear. Another bear. And a salmon. Okay, maybe that's a sign. Maybe I should stick to the bears. Jeez. I don't think that's what I'm going to do, though. I think I'm going to spend a nature token. I'm going to take this tile and a salmon. So this other stuff slides down. And I'm going to place this here on this mountain. And that's another hawk lined up with that hawk and that one. So that would be, well, there wouldn't be any extra, but I can't score it twice. But that would be good. And then I'll put this salmon here and see if I can get a run going. Slide these down, 2 more on the offer. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, an offer. Maybe a market. Oh, hey, there's the elk. Okay, so let's take these, and I'll put the elk here to complete the formation. And I will put this tile here. So it's connected to the mountains. Maybe I can connect those wetlands, but then also I could put a hawk there, which would be in line with this hawk. Maybe I'm getting a little hawk crazy. Discard these, slide down. I've got my elk, I've got my bears, salmon and hawks. I've got 1 fox. Fox isn't doing much. Okay, let's focus on the salmon, it looks like. So we'll go ahead and take this pair, line it up on this forest, maybe this way. We can try and maybe turn even 1 more time. So I can try and expand the forest out, and I'll put a salmon right there. So these slide down. Now this goes. Slide these down even more. 2 more. So we're coming up on the 3/4 mark. Bear and an elk. So I'll take this first pair. The salmon is going to go here. So that'll score. And then I'm going to place this here. I can take an elk or a salmon, but an elk wouldn't make sense. So maybe I'll put a salmon there, maybe not, but at least it connects these prairies, so it's just a larger scoring area. So that was turn 15, 3/4 of the way through. I'm on the last stack here. These are not the pieces I need, or at least not the pieces that I was looking for. So yeah, I guess I'm going to do this. Put it here. I'll connect these mountains. See if I can make that a large enough range to get a bonus and put the bear there, and see if I can get some sort of bear formation out this way. Fox, elk, and a bird. There's a hawk. And I guess I'll go for the bear. For now, I'll connect it to this wetlands. Maybe I can somehow connect these wetlands. Not counting on it though. I'll put the bear there, so this elk will go away. Slide down. Be good to get the hawk if I could. Here's another bear tile though. So I can complete another 10 points with bears. Alright, so I'll take this last one. I'll put this here, just so I have a place for the bears. Should I be able to draw one more, and I'll put this hawk here. Now this is discarded. I've only got a couple more turns. I guess I really want a hawk and a bear in that time. That's what I'm aiming for. There's a hawk. The bear's maybe a little more important. So I'll grab these. I'll put the tile here. If I have to, I can just add it to that salmon run, and it at least extends the forest by one space. And I'll put the hawk here, so that should score pretty well. So this goes slide, slide, and I should get 2 more. And I really need a bear, or I've wasted a couple turns. Well, I still have a nature token, so I'm going to spend it to replace all 4 of these, and hopefully I draw a bear. There's a bear. Alright, 1 bear. And I'm out of nature tokens, so I've got to take this pair. So we'll just discard these. Is there anywhere that makes sense? Oh, I can use this to connect these wetlands. I guess it's not that big a group. That just makes a group of 3, but it's something. And put the bear here. All right, so let's score this up. So how many groups of 3 bears, not touching any other bears? I've got 2 of those groups, so that's going to be 10 each for 20 points. I've got this 1 elk formation here. That's worth 13. I have 1 salmon run of 4 salmon, so that's worth 11. Then how many hawks are in a line of sight with another hawk, but not touching another hawk? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 16 points. And then I've got 1 fox. It's touching 2 different pairs of animals, so that's another 5 points. So I'm at 65 points for the animals. And then if we look at the different habitat types in no particular order, we'll do the river. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rivers all touching here. So that's the threshold for the 2 bonus points. So 9 points for rivers. My largest forest is this one, 4 points. My largest wetlands is just these 3. So 3 points there. Largest mountain chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, I really should have connected those. So that's just 6 points. And then prairies, I accidentally closed it off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for prairies. And 1 point for each nature token left over, which is none. I don't have any nature tokens. I spent them all. So for this game, using all of the B agendas, I have a score of 92. And that's not an amazing score, but not a terrible score. I'm just fine with that. 92 points. So now I'm going to do this quickly, but I'm going to shuffle this all up and reset it, and then play with the C agendas. So give me just a second. Okay, so now I'm set up for the next game where I'll be using all of the C scoring cards. So for bears, you score points for groups of bears that are not touching any other bears. Groups of 1 are worth 2, groups of 2 are worth 5, and groups of 3 are worth 8. For elk, you're just putting them in any formation as long as they're connected. And if you can get 8 or more of those, they're worth a whopping 28 points. So this one's a pretty forgiving one. For salmon, you're again scoring for runs, but the runs must be at least 3. So you get 10 points for a run of 3, 12 points for a run of 4, 15 for a run of 5 or more. So no extra points for going over 5. On the hawks, you're not actually scoring for the hawks themselves. You're scoring for the lines of sight between hawks, and the hawks cannot be adjacent to each other. The info online, or just reading what people have to say, seems to be that this is a super, super powerful card. It's maybe the strongest one in the game, but I think it's really dependent on, if you're able to get any hawks down. And I seem to always mess this one up. I just always seem to get myself in a position where my hawks are pointing at each other by vertices and not by straight lines. But if you can just sort of make a grid pattern where every other tile like that is a hawk, if you were able to get 5 like this, you've got, if you count the lines of sight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines of sight. It's 3 points each. So you can get 21 points for just those 5 tiles. So that seems to be sort of what you want to try and do with that card. And then for the foxes, you score for a single adjacent animal type. So you pick one of the adjacent animals, and the more that's touching that fox, the more points you get. So it's 1 point each. So if you've got a fox, for example, touching 1 salmon, that gets you 1 point. Touching 2 salmon gets you 2. 3 salmon gets you 3, and upwards to 6. It's linear. So let's get a new starting tile. This is the one from my last game. Randomize the others. And there we go. Okay. And let's take a look at these first 4 tiles. Two of them have hawks, so maybe we'll just have to see what kind of tokens I draw. But it might make sense to try and set up that grid if I can. No hawk tokens. Well, let's start off with these two. We'll see if I can make anything happen with these tiles here, but I'll put the salmon on this starting keystone to get 1 nature token off the bat, give me a little flexibility. Sorry, those tiles are out of the game. Here we go. Slide these down. All right, lots of salmon right now. So this is the only place I can place a hawk right now. So let's take this, and this could have a hawk potentially too. So they would see if I can set up that grid pattern a little bit, and I'll put the salmon here. So I've got a run of 2. Now we'll lose the bear and the token. Slide these down, grab a couple new ones. All right, we're going heavy on salmon at the moment. An elk, another elk. Elk are great too. Like I said, really forgiving in this scoring criteria. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this one, and I'll put it here, connect the prairies. And I could potentially put another hawk there, so I get a little grid going. I'll put the salmon here, so I can extend that run. These go. Keystone with a fox. Elk and a salmon. Let's see what we get. A fox on the keystone with the fox. That's kind of nice. Yeah, I think that's something I want to do. So I'm going to put this here. And now if I can make the salmon run sort of bend around it, I can get points for that. So I'll place the fox on it, gain a nature token. Oops. Nope, is that what really went away? Yeah, I guess it is. I would have liked to have gotten that one. Well, this is interesting. Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and do this. That won't hurt anything. I get a nature token. These are going to go, so that is 5 turns out of 20. I am 1/4 of the way through. Alright, so I'm going to spend a nature token to grab this tile and this token. See if I can... What in the world is my plan here? Yes, I think there. That's my plan. That was my plan. Okay. And I'll put this... Oh, it doesn't really matter where at this point, so let's say that one. We'll start there. Slide these down. This goes away. And two more. My thought was I would take that Keystone Wetlands tile and put it here so I have a place to get all these salmon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that would be 6 though. So that'd kind of be a waste. I was just trying to keep these land types connected. Maybe I should have put it here, but I didn't, so I'll live with it. But we want to get this hawk engine up and running, so let's put this here. It's another place I could have a hawk. I'll put one here for now. And this goes. Let's see if I can draw some more hawks. Yes. Okay, that's looking all right. Let's take this one here. I can connect these wetlands. And I'll put the hawk here. That's a good spot for it. This goes away. I feel like I am really missing an opportunity on elk, though. I don't know how many elk I've let pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like. We'll grab this one. I could, in theory, line this up. These all have elk as well, so I could put elk on all these and maybe get something going there, but I'll put this hawk here. This will go away. Slide down. 2 more hawk tokens. We got some keystones coming out. A fox and a salmon. All right, in order to make this work, I'm going to have to spend a nature token. I'll take this tile and this hawk token, and I'll put this right here, but not in that orientation, maybe more like that. And place the hawk right on it. Now this all slides. These go away. That was turn number 10. I'm halfway through this game. Let's get 2 more tiles. Oh, there's a hawk keystone. Elk. Another elk. Well, we're going to spend a nature token again. I want this elk and this token. Or, yeah. You know what I mean. I'll put this here. I've kind of abandoned my salmon run, and I guess I'm going to do an elk formation. I'll put that right there and gain a nature token back. And now I lose these. Slide down a couple tiles. Why in the world did I put that there? I guess to connect it to the forest, but I wanted to put another hawk there. That's okay. I'll take these. Tile, land type wise, that space is not great, but it's good placement for the hawk if I'm able to get it. So these will go away. I guess I've had pretty good luck with them so far. There we go. There's another. Just snatching them all up. And this is not maybe ideal. I'm going to spend this nature token to take this tile and this token. Because if I put this here, how do I want to put it? Like this. So I've got some more options on the water coming out. That makes 7 rivers. So I'm going to get bonus points for that. I'll just put the bear on top of it so I can get a little more scoring there. These go away. And again, a little silly, but I'm going to place this here so I can try and place it with the other bears, and I could potentially put another hawk tile here to line up with these two. And then I'll place this hawk on this keystone and get a nature token. So I'm really going all in on these hawks. I guess I need a couple tiles first. All right, I've got options for bears, and I'll take these. I'll place this here, and then I might be able to connect that river to these rivers. And I'll put the bear here on the keystone and gain a nature token. Oops. And that was turn 15. 5 more left in the game. Some more elk would be good. That's too many bears. Okay. What do I want to do with this? Well, one thing I know for sure is I don't want any of these animal tokens right now. I can't make any use of them. I have nowhere to put a salmon that makes any sense, or a fox for that matter, and nowhere to put a bear. So I'm going to spend a nature token and replace all 4 of these. Well, this is obviously very attractive. I do want that token, but I'll have another opportunity to get it. So let's take these for now and place this here to try and extend that prairie out a little bit. Put the elk on it, gain a nature token. Oh man, look at that. Where would I place such a tile? I'm having trouble getting out ahead of all these hawks. I'm going to spend actually a nature token to take that pairing, so I don't lose this one out of the game. And I think I can put it here, and that'll line up with that and with that. So I guess that works. Kind of continues the pattern from this spot that I messed up a little bit there. It doesn't make any sense for the mountains, but that's what it's going to be. So now I gain a nature token. These slide. Now get rid of that pair. So there's still a hawk up for grabs. And I would not be disappointed to get some elk while I'm at it. So we'll go ahead and take these. Hawk goes here. This very nicely slots into there. These salmon are just begging me to make another salmon run, but it's not going to happen. All right, let's get some elk, please. Salmon. Elk. Okay. Let's take this pair as it is, because I can put it on these prairies here. Doesn't really need to be connected to that mountain, but I'm doing it anyway, I guess. And I can put the elk really anywhere. Well, I don't know that it matters. I'll put the elk there, I guess. And this goes, and I've got 1 turn left. And it's got to be this tile. This pairing here is good. So it'll give me 7 forests, which will score well. And I'll just, it doesn't matter, add this elk to the form. Oh, you know what? It does matter. If I put it here, then I've got 3 elk around that fox. So that's the best placement option. All right. So that was the last turn. Let's go ahead and score it up. All right, so we'll start with the bears. I've got 1 group of 3 bears, so that is going to net me 8 points. And then the formation of elk, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's worth 14. On salmon, I've got a run of 3, which is just enough to score. That's 10. Let's skip the hawks for a moment and score the fox. The fox is touching 3 elk. That's going to be its greatest number, so 3 points for my 1 fox. And now 3 points for every line of sight between hawks. So let's count the lines of sight. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 times 3, that's going to be 39 points, which is more than my points for all the other animals combined, which was 35. So my total for animals is 74 points. So now we'll do the habitat types. So we'll start with rivers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rivers, so that gets the 2-point bonus, 9 points. And we'll do forests, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's another 9 points with the bonus. Prairies, I think I'm just shy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points for prairies. Wetlands, we've got 3 here. That's going to be the biggest one. So 3 points. And finally, mountains. Just got wrecked. Here's 2. There's 2. Looks like 2 is it. So 2 more points. So a grand total. Oh, I have 2 nature tokens too. That's 2 points. So that's a grand total of 105 points. That's pretty good. I think that might be my record. I think my previous record was 103. So 105, I'm very happy with that. So I guess the Scuttlebutt Online is there's something to it. That card can be pretty powerful if you can get enough hawks and if you can get them in the right formation. So this grid pattern is pretty strong. So that was scoring cards C. So I'm going to mix it up one more time and play a third game with cards D. So give me just a moment. Let's get it set up. Okay, so we are now set up for the third game of Cascadia using all of the D criteria scoring cards. So for the bears, it's the same as C, except instead of groups of 1, 2, and 3, it's groups of 2, 3, and 4, scoring 5 points, 8 points, and 13 points respectively. For the elk, the formation is rings, which is pretty interesting, and the more elk you can get in that ring, the more points, up to a maximum of 21 points for 6. And when you normally play Cascadia, you can shuffle these up and do whatever you want with them. You don't have to play with them in sets like this. I always think it's interesting when you get this scoring card for elk and then the previous one, the C scoring card for foxes, where you want to surround a fox with one animal type. So if you can get a fox with 6 elk around it, you're going to get 27 points for the fox and the elk combined, which is pretty cool. This salmon one is pretty wild. You make runs of salmon, and you get 1 point for each salmon in the run. And as long as there are at least 3 salmon, you also get 1 point for every other animal adjacent to that run. So if you can have the run kind of going down the middle and surround it with other animals, you'll get a lot more points that way. And then this hawk scoring card's a little bit wacky. You score for each pair of hawks that are not adjacent. You score for each unique animal type between them in their line of sight. So if there's 1 animal type, it's 4 points. 2 animal types is 7, and 3 or more is 9. So this is a pretty tricky card to wrap your head around and keep track of during the game. And for the foxes, this one you have to have 2 foxes together in a pair, and for every pair of unique animals touching that pair of foxes, you get points. So if your pair of foxes is, for example, touching 1 pair of salmon, that's 5 points. And then if there's also a pair of bears, that's 7. And then if there's also a pair of elk, that gets you 9 points. And then another pair of, say, hawk, that gets you 11. And the pairs of animals, as you can see from the hawks, don't need to be adjacent to each other. It's just if your pair of foxes is collectively touching 2 animals of the same type. So definitely you can sort of feel that as the cards go from A to D, they get a little bit more complex, a little bit more heady, not necessarily hard to accomplish, but maybe a little bit more to keep in your head and think about as you play. So let's get going here. Here's the first 4 tiles, and I guess I need to grab a starting tile from the other 3 that I haven't used yet. That one seems just as good as any. There we go. And get some tokens. All right, so what am I going to do? I think a salmon run going right through the middle would be ideal. I don't know if I'm going to pull that off or not, but I will try and at least line up these 2 habitats in some way. I could put elk here. I don't know what I'm going to do. That gets me a nature token. So let's set these aside. Well, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to take this and put it here. And I'm going to place a salmon here, I guess. And we'll see. Boy, I don't know. Does that make sense? Not really, but let's go with it. Not too worried. Oops, how'd that get out there? Okay. All right, I'm winging it a little bit. Let's see. I might try and do a salmon run here. And I'll put an elk here so I get the nature token. I was starting to make sort of a ring like here, but with the bear in the way, like maybe the ring, comes around this way or something. Doesn't have to go where, I don't know. I don't know where that is in the ring. It's a ring of 1 right now. Maybe I can get these salmon around this way anyway and have a run. Because we want that run to touch a lot of different animal tokens. Okay, this is looking all right. Okay, so we'll take this. That'll connect the run. And I'll put this here. Again, don't really know what I'm doing. Don't have a concrete plan, but that seems like a decent spot for hawk. And let's spend this nature token to take this tile and this. So this way I can get another forest in here, and it's also touching this bear. But I'm definitely not going to use it for the bear, huh? What did I do? I took that. I wanted this. That's why I spent the nature token, so that I can put it on that salmon and get a nature token back. Okay, now these slide down. This goes away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that is the first quarter of the game over. Seems kind of far into the game for me to not know what the heck I'm doing. Is it going to be a fourth? Will it be a fourth? No, it's a salmon. That's okay. So let's take this here and keep these wetlands going. And that could be part of the salmon run. And then this elk will go here. So this is going to be the bottom of my ring. I do have to get some foxes out, I suppose. But for now, I'll take this and put it here. So that can hold another elk in that ring. And I'll place this salmon here. So now I've got a salmon run of 3, which is good. So I want to surround those salmon with other animal tokens wherever I can. And also better snag this while I can. So let's put it here, I suppose. And we'll put the salmon right there to get this nature token back. I have passed on quite a few foxes at this point, 3 of them, and I'm getting towards the midpoint, so I'm going to need to grab some of those. And don't get me wrong, these hawks did some great stuff in the last game, but I don't need them right now. So I think I'd be better off spending a nature token to take this pairing and place a bear right there and get a nature token back. And it's touching the salmon run, so that'll be worth some points too. So I'm going to take this pair, which is maybe a little weird, but I'm going to put it here so it can touch the forest, and then maybe I'll do this, try and connect the wetlands. I'm hoping that I can get a fox, maybe a pair of foxes there to touch the elk and the salmon. So put the elk there, lose the hawk. That is 10 turns, halfway through the game, and still no real cohesive plan. Let's do this. We'll spend this nature token to take this pair, and then I'll try and grab that pair next time. So this will let me connect these wetlands and also place a fox. Let's put a fox here. This slides down. And it's just all salmon today, which, I'm not complaining. That's not a bad thing. We'll take this for the elk, which we're going to need. Slide these. I would like to have all of these pairs. I don't want to discard any of them. Somebody left a comment on my first Cascadia playthrough video recently and said that they sometimes just use all the tiles and don't worry too much about the scoring and just make the biggest map that they can. And that sounds super satisfying. I'd kind of like to do that. So we'll take this pair. I don't really think I'll get enough salmon to actually place something there. But I would like to put that fox there, and another salmon would be good. So the fox can score something. I'm going just a little, not far, but just a little out of my way to make sure I do score something for every animal type, since I'm trying to show all these different scoring possibilities. All right, so this won't score a ton, but I'll connect these mountain pieces, be like that, and I'll put the hawk right on it. So there within a line, there's one animal type between them, so that's 4 points for that pair of hawks. So I think I'll grab this. I didn't really need any of these tiles. I'll put this here. I don't expect that to really do much of anything, but I'll put the salmon here. So one more salmon would be great just to make this one line, but at least these foxes are near 2 pairs of animals now. All right, so that's 15 turns, 3/4 of the way through this game. Okay, I'm going to spend a nature token, some out of nature tokens, which I don't love. I'll put this here and see if I can get these mountains connected and put the elk there, because that's going to be the most effective way to get points. I was looking at maybe grabbing a third bear for here, but the elk was more points. I'd also love to get another forest piece, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I need another in order to get the bonus. I think I've already got 7 wetlands. I'm not really on track for any others, but this is still pretty good. Let's take this, put it here, and ideally I can connect that forest to this one here, and I'll put the salmon there. So now it's one big salmon run. That's great. Down to just the last few turns. Oh, I can complete that elk circle. That'd be kind of cool. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll take this pair. We'll put the mountain here, and then maybe I can put a bear on it, and the elk goes there. So no more need for any more elk. A couple of elk. Okay. Well, we'll take this, I guess, and put it here. And there's the possibility that I can get another hawk that would overlook these pieces here. And I'll put the elk here, which is starting a new ring. I don't expect I'm going to finish that ring. And this is the last turn. Okay. Oh, look at that. Another hawk, a bear. And if I had a nature token, I would have tried to just take that forest piece and throw it in the middle to make that forest big enough to score. But it's just not going to happen. So I think I'll do this instead. And I can actually put this. I'm not going to score much with it, no matter where I put it. I'll put it there. Is there somewhere I could score more than a couple points? Everything sort of evens out. So I'll just leave it there. I'll put it on that tile, gain a nature token, so I get a point for that at the end. And I thought about putting that tile and hawk here, so then they've got more animal types between them, but then it makes this river's land type smaller, so it all kind of washes out. So let's go ahead and score it up, starting with the bears. I've got 2 bears, so that's 5 points. I've got a ring, a completed ring of elk, so that's 21 points. And then a second ring started with just 1 elk, so that's 2 points. My salmon run has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's touching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 animals, so that's going to be 13 points. This pair of hawks has 1 animal between them. This pair of hawks has 1 animal type between them, and that's it. So for each of those pairs, I get 4 points, so that's 8 total. And then my pair of foxes is touching a pair of elk and a pair of salmon, so that's 7 points total. So I'm up to 56 with just the animals. And now we'll do the habitats, the rivers. I think this is my largest at 4. Forests, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I just couldn't get that 7th. Prairies, I've got 2 pairs of 2, so 2 points. Mountains, the largest is here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then finally, the wetlands is big. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 2 is 11. And then I have 1 nature token left over. So that's a point for a grand total of 84. That's not super good, especially compared to the last game of 105, but that's okay. I don't feel bad about it, and I had a good time anyway. So that's what I was mostly concerned about. So this was 3 games of Cascadia, just to show the B, C, and D scoring criteria, because I had trouble finding videos with those out there. So if this is something you like, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Those are very helpful for me. If you could leave a comment as well, that's probably helpful. I don't know, but I definitely like it. I like hearing from everybody. So, I get a fair amount of comments when I make a rules mistake. But if you have any strategy suggestions, I always appreciate those too. I'd love to learn something from putting these videos out there too. And I'm sure other people would as well. If why did I score so low in this game? What would you have done differently on this last one? Let me know. So thank you very much for watching Table for One. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.